Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Young and Restless Bumbshall. Mariah's dark secret is tied. 2. Spoiler. And the truth changes everything. We thought we knew Young and Restless. Mariah is harboring a secret so horrible that she can't even confide in her closest loved ones. We all assumed she'd cheated, but the truth is much darker and more consequential. So much so that it changes everything we thought would happen. When Mariah returned to Genoa City from her business trip for Cassidy First, she was clearly a different woman than she left. Her emotions got the best of her when she reunited with her wife Tessa, who could sense something was off. The same held true for her mother, Sharon, who sat her rattled daughter down for a chat. Mariah confessed she had done something so terrible whilst on her trip that she couldn't even believe it herself, and she definitely couldn't tell her wife. It came out that Mariah had been struggling with guilt over Ian Ward's reinvention of their lives and the damage he'd wrought on her loved ones. The unbearable feelings led her first to the hotel room's minibar, and then to the well-stocked full-sized version, presumably in the hotel lounge. This was pretty much the extent of the information she shared with her mother, leaving us all to assume she'd cheated on Tessa while under the influence. But when she next appeared on screen, another piece of the puzzle emerged, and it was a doozy. Mariah had been approached by someone whilst intoxicated, but not by a hot lesbian temptress, or even a handsome business type. Instead, it was an older man who featured in Mariah's flashbacks. He walked up and mused, "You look like you could use a friend." Well, this just left us frankly with a bad case of the creeps. Not just because he was hitting on a drunk woman sitting alone, but because he was giving we hesitated to even think it, but cult-y Ian Ward vibes. This is where the nature of the story becomes darker and graver. But with Ian being so much at the forefront of Mariah's thoughts and nightmares ahead of her business trip, it wasn't long before we began to speculate that, in her drunken state, Mariah at some point mistook this man for Ian. Our worst suspicions were all but confirmed. When Mariah told Tessa that it wouldn't be safe for her to tell her the truth about what happened that night, the only reason she would say that is if a crime was committed and she didn't want to make her wife an accessory after the fact. Our theory: the man followed Mariah back to her room and made some kind of advance on her. In her state of inebriation and panic, his face became that of Ian Ward, and she lashed out at him with all of the pent-up fury and pain she'd borne toward the cult leader since discovering he'd kidnapped her as an infant. Did Mariah commit murder? It certainly seems as though that could be her dark secret. Depending on how long it takes to come to life, it could still negatively affect her marriage, and even drive Tessa into the arms of her new confidant, Daniel. However, once the reality of the horror Mariah has been dealing with is revealed, we're certain her wife will want to support her, whatever she will be facing. With the truth being so consequential and life-changing, the implications will be different than if she'd merely had a one-night stand. Mariah has some heavy drama ahead of them, SOAPS readers. For years, the young and the restless, Mariah Copeland has been many things. Fiercely loyal, emotionally wounded, heartbreakingly resilient. She's been a sister, a daughter, a surrogate, a soulmate. But now, in an explosive new storyline that's unraveling like wildfire through Genoa City, she's something else entirely. A woman with a secret so dark, it could rip her world apart. At the heart of this bombshell, a connection to spoiler that rewrites everything we thought we knew about Mariah and threatens to unravel the bonds she's spent years building with the people she loves most, especially Tessa. In this 3,000-word critivity, we'll delve into what the secret is, how it's being uncovered, and why this plotline could be the most game-changing twist since the Cassie-Mariah twin reveal. Chapter 1, The Unearthing BGI Essex starts quietly. A box of old belongings uncovered in the attic of Crimson Lights during renovations. Sharon, sorting through the dust-covered journals, yearbooks, and faded photographs, pauses over one item, a lockbox with Mariah's initials. When Sharon hands it to her daughter with a warm smile, she assumes it's sentimental. Perhaps something from Mariah's time on the road before coming to Genoa City. But the moment Mariah touches it, something shifts. A flicker of panic, a flash of something buried that she forces a smile. Must be nothing. But in private, Mariah opens the box. Inside are three things: a torn photograph of a child, half burned, a hospital ID badge for a facility no one in Genoa City has ever heard of, a letter, sealed and marked only for spoiler, when the truth is safe. Chapter 2, Who is Spoiler? At first, fans assume the letter is meant for someone obvious, maybe Tessa, maybe even Sharon. But the camera lingers just a second too long on the name, blurred for viewers, hinting at something more shocking. And when Mariah folds the letter back up with shaking hands, the audience realizes she's been hiding something for a very, very long time. So, who is Spoiler? Online theories explode. Could it be Adam Newman, known for dark secrets and disappearances? Noah, Mariah's half-brother with whom her relationship has always been complicated? Or is it Hillary Curtis, whose legacy continues to haunt Devin and Amanda? Could Spoiler be someone we thought was dead? Chapter 3, Flashbacks and Farah Cturs in the following episodes. Y&R begins one of its most ambitious structural storytelling shifts in years. Flashback-based unraveling. Mariah begins to have memory, surges triggered by music, smells, or even just moments of silence. These aren't standard flashbacks. They're disjointed, chaotic, fragmented trauma. One recurring image, a little girl crying in a hallway, a door slamming, a man yelling. Her name, not Mariah, but another name. Could Mariah have gone by a different identity before coming to Genoa City? And could spoiler be tied to that forgotten time? Chapter 4. The investigation begins. Stessa, sensing Mariah's withdrawal, gently begins asking questions. But Mariah lashes out. Some things are better left in the dark, Tess. Even for us. Sharon, ever the empath, begins piecing together the signs. Increased anxiety, insomnia, outbursts. She confronts her daughter, who finally breaks. I did something. A long time ago, and if the truth comes out, I could lose everything. Rather than press, Sharon seeks help, pulling in an unexpected ally, Kevin Fisher, the tech-savvy reformed criminal dives into the hospital ID badge, tracing it to an off-the-books treatment facility in Idaho, shut down 15 years ago, after a series of lawsuits over trauma-based reprogramming, and who was listed among the lost patient files, a teenage girl named Scarlett Randall. Chapter 5. The girl who Viana Sacheta. Scarlett Randall's records are sparse. A false name, no listed family, no school history before or after, but Kevin manages to unearth a few details, including a grainy intake photo. When he shows it to Sharon, she gasps, because it's Mariah, or younger, hollowed-out version of her, and on the file, patient exhibits dissociative behaviors. Believes herself to be two different people. Kevin stares at the screen. Sharon, this place didn't treat patients. It created them. Chapter 6. The shocking tie to spoiler. Meanwhile, in a parallel storyline, spoiler begins receiving anonymous messages, newspaper clippings, threatening texts, and finally, a photo of themselves as a child. With Scarlett Randall, the twist. Spoiler once lived in that same facility, and until now, had no memory of it. It's only when Spoiler finally confronts Mariah, cornering her at society in a chilling, silent showdown, that the truth begins to break through. Spoiler, how long were you going to keep this from me? Mariah barely whispering, I didn't even know it was you, not until I saw that picture. I didn't want it to be true. Spoiler, but it is. We were there, together, and something happened. Something neither of us can remember. Chapter 7. The Secret IRFI Feat. In a multi-part episode arc, Mariah finally admits everything she knows. She was sent to the facility at age 13, following a traumatic event that she now realizes wasn't an accident but a cover-up. She and Spoiler were close, possibly like siblings, or closer. Something horrific happened one night at the facility. Something involving another patient who died under suspicious circumstances. After that night, Mariah was reprogrammed, sent away with a new identity and a fractured mind. The letter, it was left by a nurse who tried to protect them, meant to be delivered only if Mariah ever remembered. Now, it's open, and inside is a single sentence. You were meant to survive, but they didn't plan on you remembering. Chapter 8. Everything changes. The fallout is swift and devastating. Tessa, heartbroken, isn't sure she knows the woman she married. If you could forget this, what else have you buried? Sharon, haunted by her role in Mariah's healing, questions whether she ever truly helped or simply missed the signs. Kevin realizes this facility may have ties to past crimes he once helped cover, and spoiler, they spiral, haunted by visions. Furious at the system that shattered their past. But even more than that, they feel betrayed. You were my anchor, they tell Mariah, but now I don't know if I was ever yours.